So this year's Obel Award theme focuses on working with rather than for. Can you tell us a little bit about what inspired this theme and how do you think it reflects the current priorities and challenges in architecture today?
Well, I think when we have, as always, in the jury of the Obel Award, large discussions on the practice of architecture. What does it actually mean to provide the public with physical surroundings that are being designed in a way? And too often we experience a top-down approach on all these items that we're being sort of pushed upon. And we were really looking for projects that had integrated into local communities on many levels. Let's say with the communities, but also with different professions. Also with different types of attitudes to where they were going. And I think we found a fantastic collective that actually did manage to embody all these layers of width that we were hoping for. You know, it's really hard to find a clear picture of what you mean when you say width. So in a way you have to look for the definition of the width that is embodied in architecture in a way. And I think we did with this year's award. That said, it also gives a super interesting debate out there, because what is actually the difference between with and for? It's hard to distinguish sometimes, you know. It's not easy to say with instead of for, because sometimes it's for with, and sometimes it's with for. So in a way, it's a little theoretical, but we wanted to pinpoint the topic to its more extreme in order to try to focus really more on this collective kind of work, open, accessible to a larger group of the public.
Amazing, thank you. And then specifically, what stood out to the jury about Colectivo's work and about their approach that made them, you know, the winner of this year's award? And how do you believe their work reflects the broader values and mission of the award?
So when we discovered the first piece of work by the Colectivo C733, it was for us sort of revelation, but we, at the point, we have to be honest, we weren't quite aware of the whole program. So then two of the jury members, one of the jury members, Natalia de Vries, and then our director went to Mexico to visit, and they discovered this whole series of absolutely fantastic architectural initiatives that had been pushed into so many different communities as a program of architecture. So when we then discovered how their practice had been established, so they were working with each other. First of all, different studios finding together for this particular task and bringing them into a sort of modus operandi which made them capable of solving so many projects within such a short time frame. Then we saw them working with not only the communities but also the political leadership, which is another sort of huge span of width. And we saw them operating on the emotional level. We saw them working, like I said, with gravity. The constructions were actually there. The sort of juxtaposition of structure versus emotion. We saw them pulling into these local communities with beautiful, beautiful pieces of architecture, really well thought through materials, construction sequence, but also the collaboration with the workers on site in a super complex situation, politically extremely complex, very difficult. It's a wonder, to be quite honest, that they actually did manage to do that many projects within that short period of time. So we were super excited when we found out that there was a width to this program, which is almost like bringing all these projects into one project. Mm-hmm. It feels like a whole series of things that are almost in family. Yeah. At the same time, they are singular, they are contextual, but they feel like cousins and brothers and sisters, and they are really connected. And so is probably also the Colectivo. So their working methods reflect into the solutions of the architecture.
Amazing, thank you. And then last question, how do you see the Obel Award evolving in the coming years? And what types of architectural practices or innovations do you hope to see recognized in the future?
Well, I've been fortunate to sit on the jury since the beginning of the Obel Award and establishing sort of its direction. together with the fantastic jury members. I have to say we were pretty widespread from around the world. The Obel Foundation has been extremely generous, giving the jury a high degree of autonomy in the way we're looking at topics, themes, the debates, the discussions internally to establish the topics. And then, of course, also huge autonomy in choosing who we really believe are the best ones for that particular topic. So over the years now, we've seen a slow kind of relaxation as to how standardized architectural awards should be seen. So I think we've taken a side route in a way by looking at very, very different things, from landscape architecture to urban planning to invention in materials, and this year is the collective width. And what I'm hoping for the future is that this continues, basically, that it spreads, because architecture professions, landscape, interior design professions are really in need of a change.